Hey guys, we're testing two things here quickly. So my 20 millimeter sear spring malfunctioned during a test fire today. Sorry, it was quite distorted. I mentioned previously that getting it in there was quite the challenge, and it was quite distorted in there. And today it slipped, jammed the sear, and marker fired in safe. So obviously that's no good. So I have reinstalled the 15 millimeter sear spring that many of you are already familiar with. But on top of that, I added the 440 by 1/4 inch socket head cap screw that normally we use to shim the factory sear. So I'm hoping when I did install it, and I'll include the video. Okay guys, this is a little bit impromptu video, but during my retest of the M17, I believe my 20 millimeter sear spring slipped out of place. And the reason I suspect that is because even in safe mode, it went into fire mode. So I kind of suspected this all along. I mentioned that 20 mils might have been too long, and you can see how that's your sear spring there. And you can see how off center it is. It has shifted a whole bunch. So I've already got my grip off here. It uses just a 3 millimeter Allen key. Down the grip. What you're going to find is going backwards here, but I want to show you guys in case you missed the earlier videos. After you remove your grip, what you're going to find is a spring and a ball sitting right in there. So you do not want to lose those. So once you remove your grip, first thing you think of, get your spring and grab your balls. See how tiny that little bugger is? Set it aside. Usually what I do, so use your 3 millimeter here. Oh, no, it's not 3 millimeter. This is your 2.5 to get your selector out. So you just pin the switch and then you can undo it. It's not my usual filming angle, guys, but I'm trying to beat the wife home. Yeah, so there you go. Pull your selector out, comes out in two pieces like that. I just leave that Allen head inside, set it aside. Phillips head. This screw here does not need to be tight. You may need to use the driver to get it out initially, but putting it back in, just whatever you can do with the tips of your fingers is perfectly adequate. This is like a wood type thread screw, so if you over tighten this, you will strip this plastic in a heartbeat. Once you go like this, just give it a little pull on either side. Be careful here because springs tend to go flying. Once you got it sort of cracked a little bit, you can hold the trigger frame, or trigger guard, should I say, and just wiggle this up. Now, I'll see if I can catch it on camera because I got a feeling this spring's gonna come flying out of there. It did not. But you can see here, this spring is not happy. Look at that, it looks like a little worm. Springs definitely don't work in their optimum efficiency when they look like that. So I'm gonna go back to the 15 mil, and you can see this is a 20 mil. Oh, this is a 20 mil. And this was, oh shit, this isn't the right spring. I'm gonna have to grab the right spring. Hang on a second. Okay, so for the sake of this video, I can't find my 15mm springs. So I removed my trigger return spring, which was a 15mm, and you can see it with my sear spring side by side. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the shim that we normally used for the standard, you know, when we shimmed the standard factory spring. And I'm going to try that. And let me emphasize try, because that is exactly what I'm doing. Don't know if this is gonna work. Sometimes I just like to wedge something underneath it there. And you can see, so now I have the 15mm spring that you guys are probably accustomed to seeing or have already purchased, but I've inserted the 440 by quarter shim that normally we used on the factory spring. And I just put a regular return spring back in here. I gotta dig around some more, but like I said, I'm racing the clock here, guys, so that's back together. Make sure your pins are sort of in a vertical position here. Your nut here, you didn't lose that. This selector should, the easiest way is with the pin up. See that nub on the end? When that pin is up, that's your sear block. That's what your safety is supposed to be. So if you install it like that, then you kind of know the orientation of your selector when you're trying to put it back together here. Just push it back together like that. Verify it works. And right here, I like to just put, once I know it's all together and nice and square, make sure this is sort of all even all the way around. I just thread my Phillips head back in here. Again, you don't need the driver. Hand tight. And you can see my safety's on. So you want to have your selectors sort of oriented in that safe position. And you'll know once they are correct. So you can see clearly that's safe. Once that happens, then you can tighten this one right down. Again, just kind of wedge your fingers in there so you can get some little bit of leverage on it. Like that. Grab your balls. Nope, she's rolling away. Drop it in this little hole right there just above your selector. Grab the spring. Drop it in there. Now you can see I've left the screw in the grip like this. So the easiest way I find is use your 3mm Allen. Get it in the Allen head there. And you can hold it like this. See that? That way you can hold this trigger group like this. Look down your grip here and line your nut up with that hole right there. Once you get it in,
You want to push down on the grip just to make it easier to thread this Allen head that's inside your grip down. Safety, semi, auto. Just again, before you tuck this all back in your marker, confirm that it is working. Looks a whole lot squarer in there now. And let's go for it.
And you can see the spring is better, but not quite as distorted as the 20 millimeter. So I want to test, will it spit balls? The other test is, well, you can see there, I have reverted back to the GOG. I've gone in the rear, like so many of you had said. Now this is like deja vu. I previously did an M17, or my M17 like this, not the CQ, but in the end, just gonna stick with what works. So testing for auto fire. Bottle tested at 775 PSI output to 800 yesterday. It's about 8 degrees in my garage. It's like minus 19 outside right now, guys. So it's still pretty cool in the garage. So the output's it's down a little. And my drilled regulator now. I drilled completely through this regulator with a 5/32 drill bit. I think previously on this tank, with undrilled, it was 288, 290, which is like 41 joules, I think, about there. May have to correct myself. Done a lot of videos in the last couple of days here, kind of in between time off and knowing that I have to go back to work for an absorbent amount of time throughout Christmas, so trying to squeeze them in while I can. Okay, let's test her up. Joe Mod Mag. I only got 5 in here. Didn't spin any balls, so as long as that sear spring doesn't malfunction like the 20 mil did, that may be a go-to. But again, this is early in testing. Next up is auto fire, and we'll measure the FPS as well. Let's fire the first one just in case, like I said, I got a duck or something. And this is a full bottle. Sorry, didn't show you that, but you have to take my word for it. At this point, not gonna do anything different. .310 on less than 800 PSI. I'd say that's a pretty good result. Evans M17 consistent as it should be. I'm gonna call it a win for now. Very first tank. Well, since I've set this permanently in place, so I'll continue testing and I'll continue reporting back. So I'll shut my GOG off here. Now, I want to introduce a bleed valve somewhere in this. In the meantime, free air. Now we'll try it. There we go. So I still have to shoot a shot, unfortunately. But I am able to release that last little tick that's in there, and I can just push it back in like that. For now, that'll do. We'll see you guys soon.